Hello everyone, welcome to ChessVisor, your wise choice to improve your chess. In today's video, I'm going to show you a very interesting gambit called Lucchini Gambit, in which we are going to see around 7 to 8 lethal traps. So before we begin this video, if you are watching this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. So here, after 1 e4, we have e5. And after not normal developments such as knight f3, knight c6, bishop to c4, the Italian opening, and after bishop to c5, gioco piano. And here we have a lot of replies from white's perspective. But today we are going to see only one move, which is d3. So d3, after d3, it's a main move of Italian opening, that is gioco pianissimo. And here we have multiple replies from black's perspective, especially knight f6, d6, h6, all are there. But today we are going to play this stunning move, that is pawn to f5. At first sight, it looks like we are not making any sense here, because who will play this move? Because already the bishop is eyeing this juicy's diagonal, and the knight is coming to g5, and who is going to protect this f7? Nobody actually. And that's the idea of this gambit. Anyway, here the most tempting move from white's perspective is to play the knight to g5 and eyeing this f7 square to looking forward for the fork, right? And in this position, this is the starting position of the Lucchini Gambit, and here you should play this move, that is uh, pawn to f4. The idea is very simple. You are actually cutting off this bishop's diagonal so that we can capture the knight. That means you are actually forcing this knight to do something, and most of the players, they are going to land on f7 like this. Then we are going to play this move, that is queen to h4. We are threatening mate in 1, and we have three replies from white's perspective. And we have the obvious one is, if they are at a beginner, they are going to take on h8, and they are going to allow this beautiful checkmate in 7 moves. But this is not the most case, so they will definitely spot this idea, so they will play castling or g3, and we will cover g3 first. And after g3 we have queen h3, sorry, after, excuse me, so g3, and we have queen h3. And idea is very simple. We want to go to g2, and another idea is very simple. Whenever you have this much of development, you want to attack on the king side. And if white thinks this is the right time to capture this undefended rook in the corner, and he is mistaken, because after d5 is an excellent move. D5, you should remember in all lines, d5 is an important move. Whenever you want to attack on the king side, you should involve this light square bishop to the g4 square to hit the queen. So that's why we are playing this move d5. And after the natural move bishop takes d5, we have bishop g4 threatening the queen, and we have two main moves from white. One is to move the queen away. Say for example, the queen has only one square, I think, yeah, only one square here, that is queen to d2. And after this move, we have this beautiful knight just centralizing itself on d4 square and looking forward for this beautiful fork. And already the black is completely winning. And here, if say for example, if he plays c3, then we don't have to land on f3 immediately. We can even play this move threatening this rook, and it is coming with a check, and actually it's a checkmate. So he has to defend his rook now, so rook f1, and now we can play knight f3 check. And after any move, you are going to pick up this, and yeah, that's it. White is completely lost in 12 moves or so. So going back in this position, instead of queen to d2, if he tries the f3 move, which is attacking the bishop's post, and now we can ignore the threat, and we can play this amazing move, that is f takes g3. We are threatening to promote this pawn, okay? And if white is not patient, then he will definitely take on g4. Then we have g2, and after the natural move rook g1, we are going to pick up that rook. And obviously, because the rook doesn't have any square to go to, right? So the only square he can go, that is g1. And in this case, if he goes to g1, we are going to pick up the rook and win the game. And if we go back in this position, if he plays this move in between moves, no problem. That does not going to change anything in the threats, or the threats available in the current position. So let's back up and understand other responses from white. So we were talking about only the g3 idea. Let's go back to that position. So in this position, so in this position we saw that a queen knight takes h8 and then g3, and we have to look at only one variation, that is castles. Castling looks very safer, and it's even a game the engine reads that the game is equal in this position also. And after this move we are going to simply develop, and again if white thinks it's the time to capture the rook, then again he made a blunder, because we have knight to g4. Now actually we are threatening mate in one. There is only one move we can do here to stop the mate, the h3, or you can sacrifice the queen, and nobody is going to do that, right? So obviously they are going to push the pawn and attack the knight, and we are going to land on f2. And now we have to play this move, rook takes f2, queen takes f2 check, and after king h1 we can play this amazing move, that is f3. Why it is an amazing move? We cannot take with the queen, because queen to g1 is a checkmate, and if you take with the pawn, as usual we have this d5. So hitting the bishop and opening the light square bishop, and the bishop is coming, and you cannot do anything about this, and you are completely lost. So that's it about this three variation, and let's go back and understand other few variations from a white's perspective. So in this position, after knight to g5, in this position after knight to, sorry, pawn to f5, instead of knight to g5, that was the pretty much or most of the times you are going to see. In case if he takes on g8, we have another set of traps in this line also. You are going to take the bishop back like this, then we have knight to g5, threatening to win the pawn. Actually it's not a threat, because we can play simple move, that is g6. And in this position, if he is not careful, if he takes on h7, then we have queen h4 threatening mate and winning the knight for free, and we are completely winning the game. So let's go back and understand the other variation. In this position, if he plays okay, in this position we have two variation. Actually we have g6, that's already a trap, and we have queen f6 in this position. After queen f6, if he throws this check, that is queen h5 check, then we have g6 blocking the check. In case if he thinks that the queen can touch h7, then again he is making mistake here, because the queen is trapped this time, not the knight. So all in all, I think these traps are pretty much forced, or all the moves, I would say they are all tempting moves. Mostly they are going to play and fall for these traps. And let's go back. In this position I was talking about multiple replies from white, and knight g5 we have covered, and even I think we covered about the bishop takes g8, and the only move left is that castling. Castling looks very logical, and in this position we are going to simply develop knight f6, and after knight to g5 we have queen e7, and the game will continue. After knight f7, that's a mistake actually if he plays knight f7, so we are going to play rook f8 defending that point, so the game will continue as it's an equal game, no problem. So by playing this f5 move earlier, you don't have actually a problem, you will be having a very good game. You can simply develop like this, then you can I mean a pawn to d6, then you are going to play bishop to e6, and then you can even castle on the queen side, and we can do the pawn stomps and open the position and trying to attack him very early. So that's it about another variation. We are going to see last but not the least one. After knight g5 we saw a pawn to f4 cutting off this diagonal. So we saw about knight f7, right? And we have another move in case okay, with the support of a knight, if he takes or if he checks on f7, that's actually a blunder, because the knight is already hanging. So it's very obvious, but anyway some players will try this move also. And after this we are going to play simply king f8, and who is going to cover this knight? Nobody actually. But after h4 you can simply play h6, hit the knight back. And after let's say, okay, this is the only variation, possible variation for white, so he will simply take on g8, and after h takes g5, and he cannot take back because the rook is hanging, so he has to save the bishop now. So bishop to d5, we have g takes h4, and after queen to g4 we have d6, the discovery on the queen. And after queen g6 he is threatening a simple mate, so we have to defend like this, and black is completely winning. This is a winning position for black. You can check with your analysis also. And let's go back and understand another or the last variation in this position. Before instead of queen to g4, sorry, queen to g4, if he plays some c3 to stop knight d4 idea, because knight to d4 is pretty much very good variation for black, so he wants to defend that. And now we can play ourselves queen g5. So now we are actually threatening g2. And say for example, if he defends on queen f3, and that's the point of playing c3 to avoid this knight to d4 idea. And we have d6 as usual. If he's not careful, let's say he develops, it's just a pass move. I'm not telling you white is not exactly it is he is going to play like this, but I'm just telling that knight, after knight to d2, you can play bishop g4. The queen is dead. So that's it about this Lucchini Gambit. We have covered almost 7 to 9, I think. So what do you think about these traps in these lines? So let me know your ideas, thoughts, suggestions in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And in case if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the future videos. And as usual, this is Chess Wiser, your wise choice to improve your chess.